Hi everybody, it's David Porter. Today I want to talk about professional issues for behavioral health care providers. That is, psychologists, psychiatrists, licensed alcohol drug counselors, clinical mental health counselors, licensed social workers, marriage and family therapists, doctoral and subdoctoral psychotherapists. And the following is strictly IME, IMO, in my experience, in my opinion. Working in a clinic is horrendous. I do not recommend a prolonged stay in a clinic unless you have found a place where you have found your niche. I cannot recommend it. I've worked in 3 different clinics. One was very good. The other one was horrendous. The other one started out great, and then we went through a change of ownership. It was a small private clinic, and it was great. Really the best clinical experience I ever had. And then there were some major financial problems, and we were taken over by a much larger organization. I guess you could say we were corporatized, and it went off the rails very quickly. So what's the alternative? I got to go with private practice. I've been in private practice part-time since 2007, full-time since 2014. And I could never go back to working in a clinic again. The thought of it is inconceivable. My experience working in clinics overall was volumes of redundant paperwork. The nature of a bureaucracy is it grows. And here's a quote that I heard attributed to the former Soviet Union, which really fits. The strength of a bureaucracy is measured by its ability to resist making exceptions for the individual. The strength of a bureaucracy is measured by its ability to resist making exceptions for the individual. And paperwork grows and grows and grows. Paperwork proliferates. It doesn't get better. And rules and regulations proliferate. After a while, it becomes suffocating, oppressive, stifling. I could go on and on. You don't get paid very much. The pay is grossly inadequate. What you are doing is making money for the clinic, and you're getting a cut. You are going to have to put up with co-workers who can be toxic, and office politics, which can be downright psychotic. Here is something that is not talked about very much, and that is the games that people play in clinics. And I've seen this in every place I've ever worked at, where you have co-workers, colleagues, and I hesitate to even call them that, the people you work with, who have no conception of loyalty. They will monitor you for infractions, and if you violate I'm not even sure what to call it, some unwritten rule, some norm that they have constructed, they report you to HR, to your clinical supervisor, to your administrative supervisor, and very often you have both a clinical and administrative supervisor. You have those layers of redundancy, which adds further complications to your life. How come you can't have just one supervisor? I don't know. And plus HR. And you get called in to HR and/or one of your supervisors, or all 3, for an Orwellian corrective interview. And it doesn't matter whether you did it or not, you did it. And chances are what you did was something so trivial that a normal human being would not even notice it or very rapidly dismiss it. But and here's the other part of it too. You have people who, again, monitor their coworkers for infractions and report it. but they won't come to you. If you said something that was out of order, did something out of order, they won't come to you and say, hey, this happened the other day and I felt like you were out of line. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that. And, this is how mature professional adults, or never mind professional, just mature, reasonable adults solve their conflicts. There's going to be conflict in the workplace. Oh, all right, you know what? I didn't intend that. Sorry, my bad. It won't happen again. Okay, cool. It's over and done with. Let's move on. No, they go over your head, behind your back, and report you. And again, at that point, it doesn't matter what you did, whether you did it or not, you did it. It's really awful, and it makes you feel like you're crazy. You want to talk about gaslighting. You want to talk about standards that are impossible to consistently meet. That's been my experience in clinics I've worked at. Toxic environments, and you can't trust anyone. When people are monitoring you for infractions and reporting you cannot trust your coworkers, the people you work with. Morale just goes right out the window, and you're walking on eggs. You get paranoid. You experience so much tension. Terrible environment, and in most clinics, at least that's been my experience. High rates of turnover, very low morale, people very tense, just a very toxic environment. And my gosh, remember, you're there to help patients get better, to help people who are mentally ill or on drugs or both, or just overwhelmed by the stressors of life. You're trying to help them get better, and this is what you're being subjected to. Major cause of burnout. Okay, done ranting about that, at least for now. The advantages of working in a clinic, again, if you can find a good place with coworkers who have your back and look out for you, and you're getting paid well, hey, stick with it. The advantages are you get a paycheck or a direct deposit every Thursday or Friday like clockwork. You come in at a certain time, you leave at a certain time, you get paid vacation, you get benefits like health insurance and possibly, a 401k, or more likely it's called a 403b, which is basically a 401k for people who are clinical or in research or academia. And you have a high degree of predictability and security. And you, again, that's where some people are going to find their niche. If you are risk aversive, and if you value security. Personally, I find that degree of security to be tedious, monotonous, and oppressive. But that's me. And you have to have the right personality to be an entrepreneur, to go out on private practice, because you are going to be starting a small business. And the good news is the overhead is minimal. These days with teletherapy, you need a good quality laptop, a highly reliable, strong Wi-Fi, a desk, and a phone, and that's about it. In a private setting, that's about it. And you're in business. Maybe a pad and some pens, and I don't know if you even really need that. A P.O. box, some business cards, a business checking account. All right, you do need a few things, but it's very, very minimal. And you get the benefit of tax deductions, the aforementioned pen and pad and laptop, and even your office chair. Anything that you use that is necessary to conduct your business, your practice, is a tax deduction. You are going to have to provide your own benefits. You're going to need to get an IRA. You are not going to have any medical insurance. You're going to have to buy your own medical insurance, or make a bank account, let's say a money market account dedicated exclusively to any unforeseen or regularly scheduled medical expenses. And vacations, that kind of goes out the window. Right now, I am taking a week away, but I don't know if I can call it a vacation. I'm going to intend to continue doing teletherapy as per my usual schedule from my hotel room, and also teaching my online course, and I don't know, maybe even working on a writing project too. But it's going to be a combination of work with as much recreation as I can fit in, just in a place that's, outside, out of town, out of state actually. But I have not had an actual vacation or even a full day off since I can remember. Probably not, at least since the early 2000s, 2007. Yeah, I'm going to go with somewhere around 2007 when I started my private practice. You can forget about it. And you can make your own hours and work when you want, but you pretty much have to work all of them if you want to make any money. You can take a day off pretty much whenever you want, but sometimes you can't. You have obligations and responsibilities. You can take a day off, but you can't take a full day off. Chances are you're going to be making some work-related phone calls or emails, or have some paperwork that you have to do and submit, for some deadline, and you're going to have to do it in the morning before you take off for your getaway, for your adventure day, or when you come home that night, or do a cafe, a coffee shop, and somewhere in your travels and sit for an hour or two to get work done. Again, I can't remember the last time I had a real day off. Okay. Private practice, another thing is you don't get paid every Thursday like you want. I mean, most of the time you do, but sometimes you don't. Hard copy checks, hopefully they arrive on a regular schedule, Monday or Friday. You don't always get them on time. You don't always get as much as is anticipated. You don't get them on the schedule you hope for. You have to keep your expectations open so you're not disappointed. Basic cognitive behavioral therapy. Don't make your expectations too rigid. It results in disappointment, frustration, downright distress and depression if you take it too far. You go to the mailbox at your office, or your P.O. box at a post office, and you hope that the checks are in there. You go on your bank account and you hope the direct deposit was made. And very often it's there. Sometimes it's not. You have to be able to tolerate that. I've had periods of time where I didn't get paid in a timely manner, and you have to be able to tolerate that and not get distressed about it. You're going to be gaining a huge, huge amount of freedom and autonomy, which is what I value. But you're going to be losing, you're going to be trading predictability and security. But boy, is it worth it. I would, like I said, I'd never go back to a clinic again. I love doing private practice. The freedom and autonomy is so good. I am left the hell alone to do my job and be a psychotherapist instead of being a paper pusher and having to watch my back because I offended someone's delicate, fragile little feelings, and now they're going to report me and make my life miserable. My gosh, talk about dysfunctional behavior in a mental health professional. There's one other point I was going to make before my battery dies here. What the hell was I going to say? It was freedom, autonomy. Here are a couple. This isn't what I'm going to say, but added benefits. I don't have to go to any meetings. I have never been to a meeting which actually was worth the hour or 2 hours that I had to sit there. I don't have to go to any meetings. I have also been forced to attend the most idiotic, mind-numbing, condescending retreats, and I don't go to any fucking retreats anymore. I think that about wraps it up. My thoughts on private practice versus clinic work. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching, and please hit subscribe and be safe.